All right, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. It's Chad here. Thanks for checking out Real Experience Bowling. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel for more Motiv content, as well as lots of other bowling videos, tips, and techniques. Today we are going to be doing a review of the new Shadow Tank from Motiv. So this is going to be their newest release in the slow oil absorption category. I forget the politically correct term it's supposed to be. But this is a ball that's going to be over 78 on the hardness. It features the new friction, MXC, Pearl, MCP. There's a whole lot of you-know-me acronyms in there. It's got the flux core, which is in the other tanks. It's going to be 257015 on the numbers. So we're going to throw the Shadow Tank, and we're going to compare it to Tank Rampage Pearl, and one of my all-time favorites, the Tank Blitz. Alright guys, ball's great. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. See you next time. No, seriously. So, before we started up here, wanted to give you guys just a really good comparison. So we're bowling with all these. It's going to be kind of a broken in house shot. We're here at Rockford Lanes. It's kind of a medium heavy oil pattern. We did bowl on it a little bit, so it is kind of broken in. But we also, before we started, I hit all of these bowling balls with a fresh 500 surface just to give it kind of equal playing field between all of them. Look at that stripe. Racing stripe right there. So, out of box, I mean, that's pretty typical with a lot of these, you know, slow absorbing urethane style bowling balls. Motiv has had a lot of amazing releases in their microcell polymer series, the Shadow Tank being the latest. It's pretty typical with a lot of these balls though. When you hit them with surface out of box, I mean, they really rev up quite a bit. They tend to be a lot stronger maybe than really what you need them to be for sport patterns or high rev players or bowlers that really like to play shallow angles. So I think it's always pretty critical with these that you want to throw some shots to kind of break in the surface. You really want to use a thick, durable DH Lab Rec Chamois to wipe the oil off these things too. You want fresh cover on these. You want the most traction as possible. You want them to get up, to pick up early. You want them to get into a roll and get that heavy, consistent look. So now that we've gotten a couple shots on that one, you know, we're starting to break in the cover a little bit. You definitely see it smoothing out. You know, that is the one advantage, I'll say, of 16 pound right there, is you get a few more hits, especially with a lot of the urethane style bowling balls. I've actually talked to a lot of tournament bowlers that have started doing that. They may throw 15 in their regular equipment. They may move up into 16 pounds, or from whatever weight that you're used to, move up an extra pound just to get that little bit of extra hit. And again, this is a ball that you're probably not using on most league patterns, but still characteristically, you see that urethane type shape. Let's kind of move around a little bit off of that kind of flat hit. So, what we did there on that shot, actually moved probably about 2 right, just to make sure that we get that ball to rev up closer to the oil. Again, the idea with those urethane style bowling balls is that you don't really want to have to play a lot of angle. They actually work better when you get them into that earlier footprint of the track area. You really want them to react in that first, you know, 15, 30 feet of the lane. If they're not in a roll and if they don't have traction by that point, they're probably never going to pick up. It's not going to corner enough, or you're just not going to get the corner pins out. And I'd say it's pretty good. I'm not very good at keeping count. That's a lot of strikes in a row. But geez, I mean, you just see early, really smooth. Definitely a ball that, you know, I think just about any type of tournament player should and would have in their bag, with a lot of the new USBC laws on, you know, what balls you can throw, when you can throw them. The new Shadow Tank, it meets all those specifications. If you're able to throw that slow absorbing style bowling ball in a tournament, this is absolutely one that I'm going to be considering. So off of the last couple, what I'm going to do is even kind of go a little bit further into the track area. I'm going to try to roll this one a little bit heavier. Again, just to kind of show you that earlier forward motion. Let's take advantage of the track area that's out there. So that was another like 2 boards right off of the last one that we threw. You also notice, or if you didn't notice, I also tried to get my hand to roll that one a little bit more up the back of it, just to get it going a little more forward. It's kind of the opposite of what you'll typically do with the reactive ball. Those, a lot of times, you'll actually allow your hand to get around it more because you want it to store up energy. You want it to hook more down lane. With these, you want them to read earlier. You want them to bleed off energy. You want them to tumble. That's the best way they're going to react. So what I'm going to do now is, off of that last shot, we are going to compare it against Tank Rampage Pearl. So slightly different layout, but still that same 500 grit cover. I anticipate the first few that we throw are probably going to hook quite a bit early. Let's see what it looks like with the fresh cover compared to what we threw with the Shadow Tank, and then let's see what it looks like after it breaks in. Alright, so we missed a little bit in on that one, especially with urethane type balls with a lot of surface. I mean, if you miss in with that fresh cover, there's like no hole, no tanks. So again, track flare wise, I don't know if you can see it. Similar, I mean, a really tight kind of flare pattern with this. Again, thanks to DH Lab for these thick bowling chamois. Wax on, wax off. Let's throw it again. So, even with just a second shot on that 500 grit cover, that was a little bit closer to what we were throwing with the Shadow Tank. Similar type of line. Those types of bowling balls, they do transition the pattern quite a bit. But even throwing that Tank Rampage Pearl compared to that Shadow, you definitely saw how much weaker and how much more forward the Rampage Pearl was compared to the Shadow Tank. Off of that type of reaction, I would definitely need to move a couple more right. Let's see if we can get this one into the dry earlier, see how it compares when we did that same thing with the Shadow Tank. So we did that same type of move. I went about 2 right with my feet, got on top of it more, tried to roll it a little bit more. The last time that we did that with the Shadow Tank, it definitely picked up, rolled a little bit stronger, kind of stayed connected a little bit more. So definitely looks like the Shadow Tank wants to hold the lane a lot more, a little bit more traction. Overall, definitely seems to corner a lot more than what that Pearl does. Now I'm going to get sentimental with you guys. Me and the Tank Blitz, we're like this. So when this ball came out, I was probably more surprised and amazed by any ball that I ever have in my life. And throwing this one, it's really been my go-to for a non-resin bowling ball since it came out in the Motiv line. I've been able to use the Tank Rampage Pearl. I'm sure I'm going to throw this Shadow Tank quite a bit. There's been the blue, the gold, pretty much every color. The Tank Blitz has always been one that has continuously had a spot in my bag. This is going to be more of like the reactive resin microcell pearl or microcell polymer. So let's throw this on that same line. Let's break in the surface and see the difference. All right, so it doesn't surprise me. Like we said, fresh cover. We know they're going to hook early. We know they're going to grab more. But I think that's going to be pretty typical of what you'll see out of the Tank Blitz compared to what you'll see out of the Shadow Tank. The Tank Blitz with that regular microcell polymer without that kind of slow absorbing look. You also see a lot more track flare with this one. So this one kind of makes us play it a little bit more like a reactive ball compared to a true urethane or slow absorbing one. Let's move off of that. Let's kind of open it up a little bit with this one. All right, so that was about 3 or 4 left with my feet. My eye's in about the same spot as what we were throwing on the last one. You definitely see that ball dig in a lot harder, which is great. I love that reaction. I use the Blitz on a lot of things, but with the new changes in the USPC laws about slow absorbing bowling balls, when you can and when you can't use them, I still haven't figured it all out yet. Drop us a comment if you have an opinion. I'm sure somebody does. All right, tuning back in. Sorry about the technical malfunction right there. It's not the first time in my life that I've been told I've been too hot for something. We overheated and burned up the camera a little bit. So we are going to close out here with the shadow tank. So we went through the bag. We showed you a couple shots with the Tank Blitz. Showed you a couple shots with that Rampage Pearl. Same surface, similar layout on all of them. We're gonna go back and finish it off here with this one. Let's go back to that same line that we had on the Blitz that we just struck. Let's kind of show the difference between that older style microcell polymer and the newer 78 style hardness microcell. So I'm not gonna lie, that actually surprised me a little bit. You know, my initial thoughts when I was going into testing these is that the Tank Blitz, like I said, has been like my favorite non-resin style bowling ball that I've probably ever used. The new Shadow Tank, when it came out, you know, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to react comparing the two of them. But honestly, you saw even on that last shot, I mean, it's very close to what we had with the Tank Blitz. I mean, really predictable, really continuous. I think we struck just about every time we threw it. So it's definitely a ball that, you know, you're compliant with the new USPC laws for bowling any slow absorption tournament. You don't got to worry about what you can use, when you can use it. It's a great looking ball. I mean, geez, we've been on a streak with these kind of black purple ones. So between the Shadow Tank, the Jackal Ghost, the Primal Shot, or excuse me, the Primal Ghost, I get them mixed up. There's too many good purple bowling balls. I mean, all these things are winners. You love them. All right, there it is. I mean, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys checking out the video. Again, be sure to give us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us for more Motiv content. Thanks again to Rockford Lanes for staying open late, letting us get these reviews in. If you like the jerseys and you like the Rex apparel, check out Coolwick. Use the code REX10 at discount for checkout, or at checkout for the discount. DH Lab with the chamois. Keep your polo balls clean so you don't mess up these nice new jerseys. Appreciate it. Thanks for everything, guys.